Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the Kia Seltos X-Line. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Center Kia here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Seltos. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbocharged 1.6 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 27 on the highway, with power outputs being 195 horsepower and then 195 pound-feet of torque. Now before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see kind of the little divots there on either side and then the Kia logo front and center. And then popping down below, the Seltos has a pretty cool light setup here, and then you guys can see how it kind of like bleeds into the grill a little bit there at the light. And then look at this trim here at the top and at the bottom. I think that looks really sharp. And then you got fog lights there on either side. And putting it all together, the contrast between the blacked out elements and the white looks really good on this. Now popping on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 235, 45, 18 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here at the wheels completely blacked out. And then look at the fender flare and then the bodywork here on the side. Also notice a little painted piece there in the center. And then taking a few steps back, here's your full side view. And again, the contrast between the white and the black with this one looks really good. Now here's a quick look at the key fob. We have a remote start function, lock and unlock with this. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Now popping into the back, you guys can see hydraulic with the opening there. But the Seltos, although being a smaller crossover, actually is relatively spacious here on the back, and spare tire underneath as well. But yeah, it's more spacious than you'd think given the size. And when you're all done, they give you this nice handle so you can just, yeah. Now here's a quick look at the taillight design. Notice how it kind of goes into a light bar and then the Kia logo. You guys can see X-Line down below and then Seltos there on the other side. And then notice how this trim's all blacked out. And putting it all together, let me know your thoughts on the looks here with the Seltos. Now taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see the darker trim here, and then you've got soft touch down below where you can rest your arms, some stitching that goes through that, and then I like this that goes into the handle. Now taking a look at the seats, you guys can see the cloth in the center, and then you got some like vinyl here on the outside, so it creates some contrast. Legroom back here is actually pretty good. Again, smaller size crossover, right? Got some vents here, USB ports down below, and then headroom, it's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, again you got the darker trim here, and then notice that it goes to the silver trim. Blind spot warning with the mirrors, and then you can see the soft touch down below. We've got all of our window controls, mirror adjustments as well. And then you guys can see cloth there in the center of these seats. You got the manual adjustments here on the side. Stability control right there, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, soft touch all around, and then you guys can see we've got controls for the cruise control. You got steering assist, voice command controls, volume controls on the other side. And I like this darker trim here at the bottom. And then you can see the stocks here on the back as well. Now I've got this big digital gauge cluster here, which we can use to scroll through a few different menus, see different bits of info on the Seltos. And then we do have our different drive modes, and notice that changes with sport. I think that's kind of a fun animation. In reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution with it's decent. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with this is really good, as you can see. I think everything's pretty self-explanatory with it, and we still have the quiet mode. Always gotta love that. But anyways, there's the infotainment system. I like the look of the vents here, and then you got this darker trim, and it has a kind of a cool design on it. I don't think it's gonna pop up on a camera though, to be honest. Maybe. It's one of those things where you guys might just have to go and see one of these in person. Anyways, we've got our climate controls down below here with the radio controls kind of integrated into this section as well. And then a bunch of USBs. So here's our shifter for the 8-speed automatic. And also you got the center locker, heated seat, hill descent control. And then you guys can see for the camera system. And then notice the drive mode select. Parking brake here with some cup holders. And then look at the trim in the center console. Good storage space inside as well. And then speaking of storage, yeah, pretty cool. So here's our window sticker for this Seltos. You guys can see the standard equipment here. And then we've got the X-Line Turbo features right here. So that's why I got the turbocharged engine. Anyways, total MSRP is $30,585. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors. Just do a blind spot ring. Throw the rest of the rear. And, well, Seltos away, I guess is what we will call it. I'm actually pretty excited about this X-Line package. Kia is, of course, X-Proing and X-Lining the world, so I'm sure it's only a matter of time before we get an X-Pro everything. Like, wait until we get a Kia Soul X-Pro, right? It's bound to happen at this rate. It is bound to happen at this rate. But first off, seat comfort's actually really good here with this. And see how the turbo is as well. Yeah, pretty, I mean, again, we'll see what it's like more so when we're actually on the road, but it seems like it's got some decent get up and go so far. Yeah, torque's really good. It's comfortable. Yeah, I think it drives really well so far. Suspension's comfortable. Again, for being a smaller size crossover, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, I love the torque from this engine. It's really good. See how it does going over the train tracks here. Yeah, I think this suspension's quite impressive, honestly. So, yeah, job well done by Kia. So we're a little bit farther along on this drive. Gonna pop into the sport mode here. I will say a couple things I learned is that damping's really good. With this, going over some bumps and all of that, I think it handled it pretty well. And this is an interesting drive for me because I just reviewed the new Crosstrek Wilderness yesterday. And I love that package, but, well, first off, acceleration. Yeah, this thing actually moves. I really like the look of that package, but I kind of said that I wish that Subaru did a turbocharged engine in that. And guess what? The Seltos is basically a Crosstrek, again, similar in size to Crosstrek, but has a turbocharged engine. So to cap things off here with the Seltos X-Line, I think this is really cool, and I think it's only a matter of time until we get an X-Pro with the Seltos, which I think would actually be really cool, again, to compete against the new Crosstrek Wilderness. But yeah, it drives well, it's comfortable, and it's got good power for the segment this is in, right? No CVT. It's great. It's really good. It's a really solid package overall. So let me know you guys think about the Seltos X-Line. But I think this is a great sporty addition to the Seltos lineup, but I do think that the Seltos needs to have an X-Pro package as well. I think that would create some good competition for the Crosstrek Wilderness, and maybe it would push Subaru to finally turbo the Crosstrek. Maybe.